Like attracts like, you get back what you put out.
The goal, if you're lucky, is to excel in your profession if you're a rock star, plus be happy at work. And how can you increase the happiness? Be around like-minded people that appreciate the efforts that you put into your job.
Having the foundational blocks of leadership and culture in order to attract top talent.
So let's say I give them all the strategies,
Mm-hmm.
but they're not the best leader to really even attract this talent. The strategies are not really going to work. So if your foundation in your organization is all messed up, it's going to hurt the process of recruiting high performers, because that's like the building block. Your environment is the building block, is what's going to attract. So
Okay.
if there are issues, major issues in the
Uh,
environment.
so it really starts with your own environment, your own culture. You
Mhm.
got to get that right before you can really think about attracting rock stars, because they'll see sooner or later, they'll see through it, right?
Or at minimum, if your environment is not continuously improving, optimizing, you're not going to be able to retain talent. They want to see improvement. They want to improve themselves. So again, with kind of like the law of attraction, well, if the environment they're in continues to improve, plus they're
Yeah.
improving, well, there's a match. There's not a match if that's not happening.
Okay.
And I've seen professionals leave because it's stale. I mean, it happened to me too.
Yeah. Okay.
It happened to me in the corporate world as well. In my line of business,
Mm-hmm.
I can't take on a client that I know, even with my network, everything else, if
Mm-hmm.
things are upside down, like it's
Okay.
gonna be wasted time for me, my team, and the candidate.
Yeah.
So the clients that I love to work with, they have great foundational blocks and they're improving. They might have an area of improvement, but they
Um,
acknowledge it and they work on it. If you're new to this channel, I'm Rita Baroody, career success coach, recruiter. I made this channel to share the best strategies and for you to land a job faster. Please subscribe and I'll continue to add more value to you. How I landed my first client in my
that's,
executive recruitment firm that's been a client of mine now.
yeah.
And I'm kind of like one of their top strategic partners for 7+ years. And my company was founded in 2017, late
Okay.
2017. So when I was thinking about transitioning into executive recruitment space and leveraging my CPA, leveraging my corporate experience, leveraging my public accounting experience, all of the technical knowledge that I have gained to now basically attract the right talent and help my clients attract high performers.
Mm-hmm.
I had a lunch meeting with a friend in which I had worked for this company for a short period of time, but I built relationships there. And what attracted me to that company initially was they had a great business model and they knew exactly who they wanted to hire.
Okay.
And they really love the strong intangibles, soft skills. Because of their strong desire to want to attract this type of talent, and because naturally I feel strongly that it is those soft skills that take you a long way in your career, I was immediately attracted to them as a business and immediately attracted to the people because the people aligned with those goals, who they hired. You could see it when you talk to someone. Oh, yeah, they have great soft skills, great intangibles. So when I was having lunch with this person who was working at that company at that time, I was telling them about my career transition, and they're like, oh, well, this person was similar to me, the similar traits. I don't know how to emphasize that, but similar traits to me led to a business relationship because we were aligned with certain beliefs and values. So the law of
You,
attraction brings that
yeah.
when you have strong alignment of beliefs, values, continuous improvement mindset. If someone, for example, this company has a growth mindset, their leaders have a growth mindset. If you have a growth mindset, well, automatic
Mhm.
attraction. Maybe that happening in my life during a career transition, which is super, super hard to go
Yeah.
through, and like you're risking a lot. I risked, letting go of my CPA, but I now can leverage it, of course. I wasn't thinking of that at the time. I was just like more scared about, is this going to
Right.
work? But then the law of attraction started working in my favor because I felt so strongly about certain things. My energy, what I strongly feel, whatever you project out
Mm-hmm.
there, you're going to get in return. If you have that strong belief and energy and you take the right action steps.
Like attracts like, you get back what you put out. You already spoke a lot about that, but just elaborate briefly. What does that mean to you? Why is it so important for companies who want to hire rock stars?
Yes, if a company wants to hire a great person, a rock star who's going to positively impact their ROI, a rock star is not going to be attracted to a low performer. So
Okay.
let's say you have a culture, an environment where majority of your professionals are low performers. They do the bare minimum. They leave at 5 o'clock every day, and everyone's seeing that. You bring in a great high performer to the organization who wants to excel, who wants to do more than expected. What do you think will happen? Are they going to be attracted to this culture, this environment of everyone's a 9 to 5 person, not putting in additional efforts? They don't care to earn even a bonus. That's going to repel the rock star. The goal, if you're lucky, is to excel in your profession if you're a rock star, plus be happy at work. And how can you increase the happiness? Be around like-minded people that appreciate the efforts that you put into your job and into relationships versus those. And it's okay that professionals want to do the bare minimum, but let's say that in the interview process. If your professionals are doing the bare minimum, a high performer needs to know that.
And maybe share an example from a client you've served. Just a quick, simple example of how like attracts like. Rock star, a candidate who was kind of in your position, like a very high performer who was stuck in kind of like a big fish in a small pond, stuck in a mediocre company, and then they made the leap to a better company where their ambition and talent could really shine.
I have to think, this is the first one that comes to mind though. And this is a success story as well with one of the candidates that I helped. And plus the company, obviously I'm helping my client, the company. They're both my clients. The candidate's not paying me for this service, but in my career coaching, they do.
Right.
The client is the one. So this client specifically was a PE-backed hospitality provider. PE-backed hospitality provider. They provided a lot. You know, when you go to certain chain restaurants, all of the back of the house, front of the house, utensils, cookware, all of that stuff. They're the provider of those items. So they have, you know, huge warehouses, obviously like an office and stuff like that for the finance team, but they're a provider for those huge like TGI Fridays. This person, this finance professional he wasn't yet at a manager level at the time, senior associate level, high performing, capped in his environment, doesn't have enough room to grow and be challenged, and was looking for another opportunity when I came across him. When we started having discussions, when he joined he went through the interview process. When he joined this specific company, he had the ability to put in, this is what the environment provided. Well, it provided him the ability to put in more efforts to fast track achieving the next level. He was motivated by that. There was a plan. Hey, within your next year, you could be at this. Within 2 years, you could be at director.
Okay.
Which is almost sometimes so hard in a very structured environment. But the CFO at this company had a growth mindset in this area that if you put in more efforts, yes, you will receive a promotion. We'll fast track you. And that's why I liked really working with her, because she was a proponent and advocate for this. Plus, it benefits her team. Like if someone's putting in more efforts, making my life easier, then why not?
Yeah.
And I want someone who wants to put in more efforts. I don't want someone who's going to do the bare minimum in our team, especially being PE backed. They're looking to flip the company within 5 years. So like it's super important to have those types of people in the environment. That's the one example that comes to mind. You know, this person was capped. They had no room to grow. They couldn't be fast tracked to the next level. No diversity in what he was doing in the projects or what he was exposed to in finance.
Okay.
And he got exposure because this leader saw his potential, even though he didn't have the direct experience within every single area. So she saw potential plus foundational skill set was there. Okay, there's going to be a learning curve, but this professional seems to have the trait. I see so many success stories like this where companies go wrong. And again, this could be somewhere else maybe, but they are just ticking off the box on every single requirement in the job description.
Okay.
Makes no sense. When someone's high performing, they're going to figure it out. Can you assess talent though? That's another question. Do you have a strong gut instinct on people? That's another question. Not everybody does. And be truthful with yourself if you don't. If you don't, put the responsibility on someone else then.
What repels high performers and how to avoid it?
If there's no way that they can be fast-tracked for additional efforts,
Uh-huh.
that's not attractive to them. High performers they're excellent. They want to be at excellence. They don't want to be at the bare minimum. They don't want to be average. High level of excellence. Is your company providing that? Is your company providing an opportunity to be fast-tracked? Is your company providing opportunity to not stay in mundane, boring tasks that could be automated? Do they have the ability to be strategic? If not, it's going to repel them. Another one is, let's talk about the law of attraction, of course. Who are they talking to in the interview process? They're talking to a low performer. Okay, you're repelling them automatically. Whether it's the internal recruiter, an internal team member or leader in the organization, or an external recruiter who's advocating for your company. If they are just average, you've automatically repelled them. I'm going to be like super direct with that. You're repelling them and you're not building this momentum. You treat them like just another resume. You only pay attention to their technical skills, only because you're checking the box off. You're repelling them. You're not building rapport, you're repelling them. What is your organization doing to build rapport so that this great high performer can really show you who they are and the potential they have? Because that's what you're assessing in the interview. You're not only assessing technical, that's an average recruiting process. If you want to be above average, attract high performers, rock stars, a rock star is going to appreciate that you're learning more about them as a whole and not just ticking off some boxes.
So you want to learn about them as a whole, a whole person, not just reduce them to the points on their resume.
Yes, and David, it's because also they look at their whole life, their career, personal life, as I'm trying to achieve excellence. So if I see excellence in the recruitment process, well, guess what? I feel attracted. I feel this is a great place to work. That's naturally, that's what you want to happen. You don't want to be salesy in the recruitment process or even sell. You want it to be an organic, natural flow of conversations with Rockstar and Rockstar, from your internal team or your external recruiter to the candidate who's a Rockstar. That's going to increase the law of attraction working in your favor. When someone's advocating for your company, having a discussion with a rock star, you have to ensure that there was an assessment done that this person who's talking to them is also a rock star, just in general. And the assessment is, first, what's their track record? Can they relate to this person in any manner in regards to excellence? Have they displayed any excellence in their career? If they haven't, the law of attraction is not going to work in your favor. So that is a really key one. Have they displayed excellence in their career? That's their communication.
Yeah.
If they can't articulate at a deep, deep level and pivot the conversation to this rock star, because it's not a one-size-fits-all conversation, the law of attraction is not going to work in your favor.
How would I know if they've achieved excellence in their career?
Oof, good one. Okay, well, let's go on their LinkedIn profile. Every candidate is going on LinkedIn and seeing, who am I talking to? What have they accomplished in their career? They could get excited and attracted just from seeing what you've accomplished in your career. So a lot of the times when I'm speaking to candidates myself, rock star candidates, they're like, oh, wow, you're a CPA too. That's why I actually responded to you. That's not going to happen to the average recruiter. Oh, wow, I saw you worked in corporate and public accounting. maybe they see some of my content, some examples, some success stories from candidates I've helped and clients that I've helped. What pieces of excellence are they seeing from this person that they're about to talk to?
Yeah, that's good. And but so I'm thinking, to play devil's advocate,
Yes.
a business owner might say, yeah, like we have top performers at our company, but they're doing technical stuff. They don't have time to be doing recruitment. Big companies often see recruitment as like a lower level profession.
Mm-hmm.
So playing devil's advocate, what do you say to that? That this idea that like our own rock stars are too busy to be having conversations with other rock stars.
No matter what industry they're in, it doesn't have to, I just gave you an example because they're seeing like it's a sign of excellence to have this certification, for example. And they might have that certification too, or they're progressing towards it. Not
Mhm.
everyone can be a CPA. It's very difficult. So it's a sign, just as like an example as a sign. But let's say
Mhm.
someone is in HR, in recruitment, and that was their whole career. Okay, well, has this person progressed, first of all? How many professionals have they actually, what's their track record in placing high performers? So like a company might have metrics internally that they might track. Okay, well, this person brought us these great professionals. Well, okay, that's a strong sense of they are able to connect with them.
Mhm.
So looking at, metrics, looking at some numbers, and then also have they continued to progress? So for
Okay.
example, let's say you're speaking to a CFO candidate and you have a recruiter that's been in the role for 2 years.
Okay.
What sign of excellence is 2 years? 2 years is like, okay, you're just starting your career. You could be a great high performer, but for someone at that level, that's a mismatch. And I
Okay.
sometimes do see this, let's say a director level too. There's a mismatch. There's like a person with a 1 year of experience doing a screening call.
Okay.
How is that building momentum for this high performer to really be attracted to you? What they do is what a lot of organizations go wrong. Let's say they want to hire someone because lower level because it's less expensive, but that repels high performers.
Can you think of a specific story you can elaborate on of a major mismatch between the person doing the recruiting and the candidate? But it could have.
Yeah, I mean, you join the conversation,
Yeah.
you're rattling off questions, technical questions.
Uh-huh.
No rapport was built, no connection, nothing regarding even giving this rock star candidate a compliment about their success. Again, checking off, that's a botched process. They don't
Right.
feel a connection to your company because you failed to build rapport in the process and you're just asking technical questions, making sure that they have all of those skills, which
Hmm.
is important, but that's not a natural flow of a conversation.
Yeah.
So a botch process is drilling a candidate with questions, not giving them any recognition for their success. You're instead just drilling them. They worked so hard to be a high performer, to be a rock star, and they come into the interview, they're not feeling that you respect that you respect the efforts that they've extended for the past few years. It's on their resume. You haven't acknowledged it. That's a botch process. You act very aggressive in the interview
Hmm.
and
All right. Well,
they feel like they're on guard, like it's like a
yeah.
military style interview.
We mentioned this before, passive versus active candidates. Tell me what that is all about.
So it's 10 times harder to attract a passive candidate. So someone that's not actively searching for another job, they're not ready to make the move. They're
Uh-huh.
casually looking, they're thinking through, is there a better opportunity? If that better opportunity comes along, I'm ready to commit. But it has to be a better opportunity and they have to feel strongly that it is in order to make a move versus
Right.
maybe a more active candidate is like they've already made up their mind. I'm ready to leave. A
Yeah.
passive candidate has not made up their mind, but is open to discussions and learning more about opportunities that might be a better fit for them. And within that, every single thing could be a turnoff for them. Like it's the scrutiny for a passive candidate and how you attract them, I feel, is a lot more challenging because of their mindset and what their thought process is. And they're not desperately looking.
What are some of those kind of specific do's and don'ts? I mean, are you wasting your time chasing passive candidates? Why would you go after a passive candidate at all if you have active people who are more like eager buyers? I mean, I can imagine that some of the best people are the passive ones.
In general, because they are open to conversations, it kind of would be dumb to not consider passive candidates. But what's going to work with them, like what would repel them? Think of the effect of it, of what we just talked about on an active candidate. Maximize that, 10x it. So if the botched interview, if anything happens that they're not feeling, the intensity has to even be higher for a passive, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So everything we just talked about, 10x it for a passive if it's happening. So important to pay attention to all those details. Cannot be salesy with those, like 1 inch of like sales tactics or aggressiveness that I've seen with other recruiters. Hey, they're quick to end the conversation.